Good morning, church. There is so much happening in the world right now. I don't need to tell you about it. You know. And if all that wasn't enough, last week we said goodbye to our beloved pastor. Whether we are aware of it or not, we are carrying the weight of our emotions inside our very selves. So I must ask, how are you feeling? For me, this week was difficult. I had moments of great sadness that brought me to tears. I am still feeling a lot. And I am fully aware that I am being completely selfish in all that I am feeling. I'm going to miss Pastor Julia very much. And I'm giving myself permission to grieve. Pastor Kenneth Hoke, the founder and director of the Stevens Ministries, which specializes in grief caregiving, writes, "Grief is normal and is a natural response. We're created to grieve just as we're created to love. We love. And when we lose someone we love, we grieve. Letting ourselves feel is the best and healthiest thing we can do for ourselves." There is a hashtag currently being used in the media, hashtag #InThisTogether. This not only pertains to the global pandemic, but as a church we are undergoing a pastoral transitioning together, saying goodbye to our pastor together. The ending of one chapter and the start of something new together, sharing the grief of our loss together. There are different approaches to grief, and I wonder if you can identify with any of the following. Denial, or believing that there was more time left with Julia when there was not. Avoidance, keep pushing it down and not thinking about how we feel because it is all just too big and scary. Brene Brown calls this chandeliering. I get that, and at times I have done this. Cocooning, isolating and allowing yourself to sit with what you're feeling, the sadness and the grief. Yep, that was my Monday. Lament, crying out, usually to God, to express deep grief. Shock, even when a loss is expected, you can still feel numbness and shock. Inability to concentrate and focus on daily tasks. Overwhelmed by sadness or feelings of depression. Wanting to sleep all the time, or the reverse. Not being able to sleep due to preoccupation. Crying at the drop of a hat. None of the above are out of the ordinary characteristics for grief. In fact, they are all normal while mourning the loss of someone we held dear. Mourning means the shared social response to loss. First Church, as a body of community, has experienced a shared loss. Hashtag #InThisTogether. Week after week, Julia encouraged us to share our feelings surrounding her leaving. The need for ceremony and a closing ritual were recognized, in many hours of planning and thoughtful deliberation went into creating well-crafted, socially distanced, in-person events with Julia. It can be said that First Church truly had a good goodbye. The reverse parade allowed us time in person with Julia to visit with her in front of the church and share some time to help with closure. And then we had a wonderful gathering as a church with a ceremony at Susanna's house. The carefully planned ritual of separation was filled with love and the visual of finality of seeing our pastor walk through the gates, get into her car, and drive away. It was a powerful moment and a poignant memory. So there's one more way to approach grief that I did not list earlier, and that approach is to numb yourself by consuming alcohol or using recreational drugs. I used to be really good at that. I started drinking when I was 15. Excuse me. Because I did not want to feel. It was too painful. I discovered that alcohol took the edge off. And as I got older, the means by which I would numb my emotions progressed. And eventually this behavior turned into a 40-year dependence on drugs and alcohol. All because I did not know how to feel my feelings. I am now in a program of recovery. And by the grace of God, I've learned how to feel these emotions without the use of drugs and alcohol. I will admit that as the months became weeks and then dwindled down to the last days of Reverend Julia's ministry with First Church, I often got stuck in my sadness. The feeling of loss would consume me. This is the stuff that used to make me drink and light up. But I am blessed with wonderful friends who encourage me to talk about how I am feeling. And God is always there to listen. My emotions are right here. Today I am feeling. My heart is heavy. And I'm okay with that. This is my first adult experience of church. Initially, I came to First Church because Julia was the pastor. I will stay at First Church because of the love, support, and nourishing fellowship that is so freely given. Reverend Julia Berkey was for me a true spiritual leader, a true example of someone who was also walking in the footsteps of Jesus. In my last text to her on Monday, her last official day, I told her that I was going to miss her so much. I quoted Dame Julian of Norwich. All will be well, and all will be well, and every kind of thing shall be well. I sent her my deepest thanks and blessings, and said that knowing her has made me a better person. So here are my sprinkles of hope. At the 2 in-person events, we were encouraged to pick a kindness rock that Reverend Julia had joyfully and lovingly blessed. I chose hope. Indeed, I have hope that all will be well. By the time you view this on Sunday, you will have been introduced to our new interim pastor, Reverend Virginia Child. Reverend Child is trained specifically to lead First Church through the process of transitioning, being cognizant of where we have been, meeting us where we are, and guiding us forward. I pray that we all honor where we are and give ourselves permission to feel whatever it is we are feeling. Don't be afraid to reach out and talk to somebody about it. The only cure for grief is to grieve. Be kind to yourself. Let it be so.